peoples, welcome to another video. Oh, sorry, that was loud. Welcome to another video. Today we're gonna talk about motivation, and this is a hot topic in fitness because everyone talks about motivation all the time. Some people are like, no, you need discipline, you don't need motivation. Some people are like, oh, this is the golden magic trick to motivation. Today we're gonna talk about motivation according to the self-determination theory. And you might think, why are you even qualified to talk about this? Well, I did a study in clinical psychology, and last year I did a master's in health and social psychology, and my research topic for my thesis was motivation. Sports motivation, actually. So I learned a lot. So I hope this works out. The lighting is, well, this is Holland, so lighting isn't ideal, but I still hope you can follow along, and if not, then I might just delete all this footage and wait for a sunny day in like 30 years. I'm drinking coffee.
Okay.
I feel like that teacher, you know, that teacher who just has graveyard breath, is like explaining something to you and it's like, and you just die because of the smell. That's what I feel like today. But luckily you guys can't smell anything. By the way, I borrowed this whiteboard from my brother. This complicated stuff over here is his. I don't know why he got these genetics and I didn't, but that's life. So, yeah, self-determination theory and motivation. So there's actually 3 types of motivation that you might have heard before. And the first one is amotivation. Amotivation is that feeling, I think we all know it, when you literally do not want to do something. Like you're just sitting there, you're just looking at what you have to do and you're like, no, like, I don't want to do this, I cannot think of a reason to do this, just do not want to do it. Why am I even doing this? What is this shit? So that's amotivation. Then there's extrinsic motivation. And we're going into more detail about this later, but basically extrinsic motivation is things from the outside that make you do something. Very general, raw terms. There's a lot of variants within extrinsic motivation, but that's basically what it is. And then we have intrinsic motivation, which is you doing something because you enjoy it. So you like to read, and you really just like to read, so you grab a book and you go read because you enjoy it, and that's all. So different types of motivation lead to different types of regulation. And regulation is the way you regulate your behavior. So the way you make yourself do something or not. And with amotivation, the type of regulation is non-regulation. Because you are not motivated to do it, so you're not regulating that behavior because you don't want to do it. And this is basically me during math class in high school. I'm just like sitting in math class, like, why am I here? What do I need this for? What is this life? Why am I doing this? No motivation, 0. So that's amotivation and non-regulation. Then there is, within this extrinsic motivation, I hope you can see where I marked off the types of regulation that relate to extrinsic, but there is external motivation. And external motivation is basically punishment and reward, like a dog. So let's look it down. I hope you can read my handwriting, by the way, because I do not have the best handwriting, and they try to make me have better handwriting by making me stay in school after everyone left and do things again in primary school, like write everything over again, but didn't really work out, so here we are. But I hope you can make some sense of it. Yeah, so basically punishment and reward. So for example, when you're a child and you have to eat everything that's on your plate, and your dad says, oh, if you don't do that, I'm gonna send you to your room, and that's your motivation to eat everything that's on your plate and eat your vegetables. And reward, if you get €5 to do something, the chances of you doing it are likely higher than when you don't get anything. Then we have introjected regulation, and the name itself already kind of says it. introjecting, so introjecting, getting something from the outside and injecting it into yourself. So introjected regulation is basically pressures from the outside that you feel pressured by to do something. A lot of this has to do with the ego. So either you want to prove something to yourself or to others that you are capable of doing something or you're good at doing something, and therefore you do that thing. That's the way you regulate that behavior. Okay? Also, shame is a big thing here. I'm going to relate this to fitness now. You can relate this to anything, obviously. Some people go to the gym because they want to prove to other people that they can be a fit boy or be a fit girl, or they want to prove to other people that they're really, you know, pumping weight and they have a nice body. And that's here. If you're one of those people, you're here. This is your regulation to go to the gym. Introjected regulation. And sometimes if you don't go to the gym for a day, you might feel ashamed of not going to the gym because you're like, oh, I had to go to the gym yesterday and I didn't, so bad. This whole ego thing gets involved and you feel ashamed. Also, people, like I said, people who go to the gym to have a nice body because they feel pressured by society, by social media to look a certain way. You're here. And also, I'm not here to judge your motivation to go to the gym. I think going to the gym for whatever reason is going to benefit you, so I'm not here to judge your motivation, just here to make you aware of it. Identified regulation. So we're still in the extrinsic motivation category. Identified regulation is when you actually have a goal in mind, so goal. There's a goal that you want to achieve, and therefore you have to do a certain type of behavior. So for example, you want to run a marathon. That's your end goal. You're like, oh, I want to run this marathon in July next year. I'm going to train really hard for it. And to run a marathon, you have to be fit, so you have to train. So that's your entire reason to go to the gym, go running on a treadmill, go running outside, is that you have this goal in mind which has personal value to you. You value that goal from yourself. So it's different from here, because here it's other people who value things and that makes you feel pressured into something. Here it's your personally valued goal that you're trying to achieve, and therefore you have to do a certain type of behavior. Yeah, therefore you do that kind of behavior, like going to the gym, go running, setting these kind of different goals. So a lot of the times we see people who go to the gym because, please don't give up on me, marker, of health reasons. And that's also a goal that you personally value, or something that you personally value is your health, and that's why you go to the gym. So that's basically this for identified regulation. Then, I'm sorry, I forgot to write something down because I can't be perfect. There's another type of extrinsic motivation that leads to another type of regulation, and that is I seriously, sincerely hope you can read this. Integrated regulation. So this actually comes after identified and is still under extrinsic. Integrated regulation is slightly different from identified regulation, because here, the thing that you're doing, that you're regulating, has become integrated in who you are. So for example, you might say, I am a power lifter, or I am a bodybuilder, and therefore I train. So this, even a step further than this, this is just a goal that you value, and this is really, it has become something that you are. So it's a part of you, and therefore you do something. And also here it's important to know that there's no pressure from the outside there to be a bodybuilder or to be a powerlifter. It's really something that you feel like you are, and that's why you do it. Then, the last type of regulation, which is under intrinsic motivation, is intrinsic regulation. And this is the golden child of all motivations. So, this type of regulation is you doing something just because you want to. All of this, like goals and health, you don't care about the health thing, health benefits. You don't care about outside pressure. You do not feel ashamed when it doesn't work out. You just do something because you want to. And that's a very rare type of motivation these days, because to really truly find someone who's only here, and only here, because you can be in multiple motivation types at the same time. So you might go to the gym because you think you're a powerlifter. You would also feel ashamed if you go to the gym, and maybe there's a certain reward. So you can be in multiple motivation types at the same time. Enjoyment and nothing else is rare. This is the type of motivation you see in kids. Kids do things because they want to. They eat sands because they want to. They get up and walk around because they want to. And as you progress in life, sadly, you start becoming more aware of this ego and these external pressures and what's healthy, what's not healthy, like goal orientation and who you are as a person, and this becomes very rare. Now you might think, why do I care? Well, who gives a rat's ass what kind of motivation I use, as long as I just go to the gym? The reason why you should care about what motivation drives you to do something is because these type of motivations do not really correlate to well-being. So doing something because you're driven by ego or shame or punishment reward, or this is just not even there, it really does not make you happy. Really doesn't. This type of motivation actually does get you closer to happiness. Sounds logic, right? If you do something because of outside pressures, it's not going to make you happy because it's not really what you want. If you do something that's more in the inside pressure, then it will make you happier. And this type of motivation is the one that will make you the happiest. Okay? So well-being increases when you go from there to there as a reason to do something. Maybe you might feel a little bad because you think you're more like here or here in terms of going to the gym. That's really not an issue. Like, if you want to go to the gym, whatever your motivation is, I'm not here to judge you. But there's certain things you can do according to self-determination theory that will get you further along the motivation spectrum to more of these type of motivations. And there's 3 ingredients. And those are competence, relatedness, and autonomy. Start out with competence. Competence is the belief that you can actually do something, okay? So let's take me as an example. Doing mathematics in high school. I hated my teacher in high school, my mathematics teacher. I hated him with a passion. And I was in this type of motivation basically. So I just did mathematics because if I didn't, I would have to stay after school, my grades would go down, all these bad things. But because I hated my teacher with such a passion, I didn't pay attention in class because I just couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand listening to him. So I really got really bad at mathematics, because if you don't follow along for 2 years, the rest of the class is going to be light years ahead of you. They're going to understand everything and you're just in class saying like... So I did not have the belief that I could actually do it, because I saw all these complicated things. I was light years behind. I was like, oh my god, how am I going to do this? If I would have had to believe that I actually could do it, I would be more motivated to do it. Because I'm like, okay, you know what? This sucks, but I really think I can do it. And I could have thought more about it as a way to get my diploma. I have to get a certain grade in mathematics to get my diploma, and I think I can do it, so I might have ended up more here or here, you know? Would have been better than being here. Next thing is relatedness. Relatedness is our desire to share our experiences with other people. So things become more fun, become more motivating if you can do them with other people. And you see this a lot of the times in sports. If you do a certain sport and you can do it with other people, you can share experiences, you know, and you go to the gym together, or you go to your sports club together, it becomes a lot more fun and a lot more motivating. The last one is very important, it's autonomy. And autonomy just means how much of a say you have in something, right? So if someone else makes your training program and it's like, okay, you are going to do 7 days of training per week, you're going to eat this, this, and this, and I don't care what you like or what you don't like, this is what you're going to do, and that's it, have fun. You're not going to be very motivated in it, because it's important for you to have a say in something. You have to tell your trainer or the person that's coaching you what you like, what you don't like, how many times a week you can train, what kind of exercises you like. You have to find these things enjoyable to do. So you have to have a say in that. Otherwise, you're not going to be motivated. So these things are going to move you along this motivation spectrum to a certain extent, okay? Also, subtracting these things can move you back through the motivation spectrum. You can be in between motivations. You can start here and go there. So it's not just start here and go there. It's maybe you start here, you go there, maybe you start there and you go here, maybe you never get here, maybe you never were here. It's very dynamic. So that's basically what I know about motivation and what has really helped me in my personal life. I apply this to fitness most of the times. You can apply it to basically everything. It has to do with your life. And yeah, that's self-determination theory for you. I hope I made this understandable in some sort of way. If not, I'll try to do it again. And you can always ask me questions. And I hope you got something out of it. So enjoy your day. And here's to decent motivations and being happy for the things you do in your life.